for Greatness podcast.
Fancy.
What is up, everybody in internet world? I am here on the Hunt for Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Lex Hunt. We got 3 cameras rolling. I got my man Judd Brock, and I got Eric Williams on, and I'm stoked the boys are on the podcast tonight. What's
going
up,
on?
boys?
Hey, man.
The boys.
Good to be
We're
here.
back in town.
The boys are back in town. And we got kind of a controversial subject to talk about. Eric actually came up with this topic. What made you think of this topic?
I'm a big fan of the Meat Eater podcast, and they did a version based on hunting. And so I was like, man, that's a common theme that we're dealing with here in eastern North Carolina and Wilmington. We have a small body of water and a ton of people fishing it.
Yeah.
So I thought that this would be a good thing for us to have that conversation about and hit the positives and negatives of each.
What he's talking about, guys, is how social media and YouTube has affected fishing. We're going to kind of keep it on fishing, probably,
Yeah.
I would say. We all hunt, but we'll keep it on fishing. I think that's a good...
It's like 2 different podcasts, really.
It really
I mean,
is.
one and the same, but still, you could do an episode on each one.
Like social media and media, does that count? Like, does Google Earth count? Because that has changed everything, dude.
Eventually,
should we
it's going to be
leave-
live feed, I bet.
Or should
Live
we leave
feed
that
Google
out?
Earth.
Should we even talk about that?
That's
We'll
tough.
see what it gets to. I think we got. I feel like you could probably do an episode on each piece of social media. Really.
You have a great video on how to use Google Earth. You have a great video, and it's filmed fantastic. What's the name of that video?
I don't know.
How to use Google Earth to catch redfish or
I think
something
that's what
like
it is,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great video. Y'all need to go check it out. Judd Brock Fishing on YouTube.
Judd Brock Fishing.
Judd Brock
Or
Fishing.
no. Sorry, Eastern Angling.
Eastern
Current.
Eastern Current
Too many names going
on
on.
YouTube. Judd Brock Fishing on Instagram. E. Williams. And that's Judd stuff, guys. Is there anything else you have?
Not that's important.
Judd's a fishing guide in Eastern North Carolina. If you guys want to go book a trip, he's one of the best red fishermen around here. I know you might not feel
Maybe not
like
after
it right
today.
now.
Not after today. I
But
gotta be
hit
honest.
Judd up. Eric is a realtor, E. Williams Realty on Instagram. Y'all go follow Eric. Eric will sell you a house or a piece of land. If you need a realtor, you guys hit Eric up. But yeah, is there anything else to plug where people can find you?
The
Your
YouTube.
YouTube. Duh.
Eric Williams Fishing.
Eric Williams Fishing. So we all, transparency, we all have media, fishing media.
Correct.
Yeah, we all have fishing media and
More so than just Instagram.
Yeah, more so than just, and even Instagram. Let's start off with Instagram. You guys cool with that?
Yep.
All right. Can I tell you what I was thinking about? The first thing I thought about when I thought about Instagram, I thought about Atlantic Bonito, dudes. Like when somebody
Oh gosh.
posts, we're going to talk about the positives and the negatives of media, social media, and YouTube for the most part. When somebody posts an Atlantic Bonito, like it immediately makes me want to go catch them because I
Yeah.
know they're here. Like,
That-
what's the first thing that crosses your mind when you see the picture?
I mean, there's going to be a fleet.
A fleet.
There's going to be a fleet at any piece of high relief structure near the beach. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's half the fun. I think that's half the fun of
The
some of those
race.
fisheries can handle that. Like
I feel like those can.
yeah, that can handle it. I mean, but it's that double-edged sword of like, I don't know. It's awesome to see people out there doing it, but then at the same time, you kind of want to have it yourself when you're out there.
Which kind of isn't realistic.
No, not realistic.
I mean, not around here. It's not.
especially for that type of fishery. But yeah, I've been thinking about the Atlantic Bonito the past couple of days, especially
it's
the way
coming.
the redfish have been acting.
Dude, it's coming. It's coming.
What's the sign of things to come too? It's step one. Then the Spanish are coming shortly after.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just time to get ready.
But when you see that picture of that Atlantic Bonito, you're like, okay, time to get it. When that first dude, like if we could just get you guys to not post an Atlantic Bonito and just do a controlled experiment of how it would go without any, like
Any
when
posts.
they're gone, let's post them then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how.
Big Nick would not be very happy about
Oh yeah, yes. There you go. Yep.
But yeah, it's like, dude, it's crazy when those fish come through. Like everybody pulls their boats up out of the slips and they want to get out there and catch them. But
You'll see everything from 14-foot John boats. Like there,
Absolutely.
I have a picture of a little 14-foot John boat next to that. You know that massive blue regulator
I think so.
that has like the 4 motors and the tower on it. They were like trolling side by side for each other. I was like, that's pretty cool.
A couple miles off the beach.
Yeah, a couple miles off
Yeah.
the beach. That both of those boats are doing the same thing.
Wow.
So
That's like Instagram does let you know when fish are here.
oh, it's a type of cyber scouting for sure. And one of the things I struggle with Instagram too, like especially today, I don't want to go scroll through my feed. I had a crappy day of red fishing, and it sucks when I do it for a profession, and I go and I scroll on there and I see that some other guys caught fish that day, and it hurts my pride and my ego sometimes, but you got to let it go, and that's something I struggle with. That's probably my biggest struggle with Instagram, is comparing myself to other anglers that day, that I know we're fishing the same area, and it can be good. It can be like a positive, I feel like, if you handle it the right way, but I also really can let it get me down and beat me up, especially if I have a streak, a few tough days, and I'm like, golly, that one person's whacking them every day.
Like, what am I not doing right?
Yeah, what am I not doing right?
So comparing yourself to others can be a negative.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think that's a big struggle on Instagram.
On
a lot of
social
realms.
media in general,
Yeah.
Facebook. I mean, it's a highlight reel.
For sure.
Like, you don't see all the days we get skunked. I did post a picture like this one day,
That's
holding
awesome.
nothing. And I was like, caught this overslot red in the freezing cold, but like, you don't see pictures when people get skunked,
No, you don't.
And taking-
Sunset pics, they didn't catch anything.
Taking that another level is it makes you want to post even more when you do get your fish.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So then you're just feeding the fire to the next person that's just went through what you went through.
Yeah.
Do you think that motivation is kind of negative, or the motivation to catch fish just in order to post the fish?
100%.
I think it can
is.
be negative.
Yeah.
It's not really the right reason.
At least in my head, it's never been a positive thing.
Yeah, it's really not.
So-
It's like, how many? Do you think it can cause people to kill more, like a limit? Like, just to post a picture of, hey, I shot. I know with ducks, I don't want to go into hunting, but with ducks, I want to shoot a limit.
Right.
Like,
right.
that's the goal. Shoot a 2-man, 3-man limit. Like,
It pushes this idea of, like, if you're not catching your limit, or like if I didn't post a picture of if it's trout season and everyone's posting pictures of limits of trout, and I post a picture of one trout, you worry, like, all right, what do clients think, that I'm not catching fish, or like, what do people think I'm not a good fisherman, like if I'm not
Right.
posting a limit of fish? It definitely pushes you to want to do that. At least myself. I'm speaking for myself.
well, you've done it. He's done a cool post. You probably saw it too. And the Release Over 20 campaign. That is a positive social media motivator to release fish. And I love a video of a fish being released. It's very cool to watch.
Sexy.
It feels good too.
It feels good, and it's like, okay, well, let somebody else catch you, or let
For
you
sure.
have a million babies, or whatever it is they lay. I think that could be the flip side of the coin, like, not dead fish all the time. But you posted a video where I'm pretty sure it was you put your net in your trout,
Yeah.
your live well, and you released like 5 or 10 trout, and I thought that was a cool, like, positive thing. It's like, okay, we're preserving the fishery, because I think we were talking about pressuring fish more, like, fish are getting pressured more because of social media. Like, it's motivating more people to get out and really cast these. If you're catching redfish in the dead of winter, I want to do that. I mean, at least once or twice.
Right.
So it's like, I want to get out there and pressure them if you're posting a picture. So it could pressure the fish more. I mean, you agree with that, Eric?
Yeah, and unfortunately, this time of year, there's not many options. So those
Yeah.
redfish get destroyed.
That's tough.
And they're in such small little zones,
Mhm.
That's the tough thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think there's definitely that kind of. I don't even know exactly how to explain it, but just that cycle of wanting to post on Instagram, wanting to show people that you're catching fish, and it's maybe there's people that don't struggle with it, but it's like when I have a good day fishing, like, and I can chalk it up to the excuse of I'm a fishing guide and I'm trying to book trips, but I know in my heart that that's not all that it is. That it's also me wanting to prove myself as an angler and in an unhealthy way for myself.
For sure, because I'm not a fishing guide, and I feel that way. Like, I want to post and, like, let people know, like, hey,
I'm still here.
yeah, I got this. I accomplished my goal today.
Right.
Like, you may not have, but I did. It's an ego thing.
It definitely is.
It has a lot to do with ego.
It definitely does. Yeah.
I think the catch and release is pretty dope. I think that's cool to film that fish swimming away. Like, we're preserving our ecosystem. That's a positive way to look at it. And the negative way, I think, that we are talking about is, like, killing more fish just to get a picture, just to say I caught a 5-man limit. To catch a 2-3-man limit, you don't have to kill the fish. You can
Right.
still catch a 2-man limit, and
For sure.
you don't have to have a picture of all the fish dead.
I wish I didn't want to put them all in my live well, the trout, but I think it's like the old school redneck bass fisherman in me. Like, I want to, like, when I do have a bunch in the well, like, I always am opening it and looking at them.
It's
I'm like,
really
oh, yeah,
cool.
Those are cool looking in there.
It's really cool because
Yeah.
you don't see that much.
No, you don't.
You don't see. All right, YouTube. Before we forget, 'Cause-
going off the tangent on that is the difference between making the videos. Like, I get as much enjoyment out of filming a video as I do catching the fish.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
catching the footage. Like that, I get a thrill out of that. Now I'm like, if I'm going fishing, I got to have a camera, or
Right.
I don't enjoy it as much
yeah.
because I'm hunting that footage.
Oh, I'll turn around at the ramp and come back if I
Yeah.
forget my camera.
Will
That's
ya?
just the kind of person I am. I'm like, something's gonna really pop off today, and I'm not gonna have that camera to catch the moment, you know.
Mhm.
But before I started filming YouTube, I couldn't care less about it.
Right.
Before I started filming fishing videos, I could not care less about. I don't care if I get just it'd be cool to get a picture and release the fish.
Yeah.
Like I just want to catch fish. But it's like almost like an addiction. Like once I started filming, I'm like, I want to get cool shots. I want this to look awesome. Like
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, but
Well, it's fun. I mean, it's fun to record those videos. It's fun to show people what you're doing out there on the water. And it is people like us that have enjoyed creating the content that have piqued the interest of people that might not have done it. And the big battle that the conversation I have a lot is like, people that I think it's great if people watch a fishing video and want to get into fishing. I want everyone to be able to experience and enjoy what is so incredible to me. Like, I want everyone to have the opportunity to get out there and do it. Unfortunately, our resources have not been managed in a way over the years in a lot of states, but especially North Carolina. And I'm not going to get into like the commercial fishing, recreational fishing. I'm done pointing fingers. It's just the state didn't manage it correctly, and there's not enough fish for the amount of people fishing, really. But even apart from that is people that are cyber scouting, looking on Instagram, trying to figure out where people are, flying drones over guys polling in the marsh.
he said drones,
I
Eric.
said, sure, we'll get into drones. Flying drones or seeing somebody pull a flat and then going it. Like, I feel like when you earned the knowledge yourself, fishing-wise, you put in the miles polling, you run the trollometer, you find a school of fish yourself, you find a bank that the fish like to come down at a certain tide, and you put those pieces of the puzzle together, you're going to respect that fishery and those fish a lot more than when someone just hands you the information, or when you steal it off of a YouTube video. You saw some guy fishing a spot and catching them, and you go and, like, not that that's a bad thing, but I just don't think that breeds like a conservation-minded angler. When you earn it and you realize how tough it is to figure it out yourself, I feel like your mindset is much different in the sense that you want to protect that. You want people to enjoy it, but you care a lot more about that resource in that sense. That's my kind
Well, you
of
put the
2
work
cents.
in,
You put the work in,
and
yeah.
you have a sense of accomplishment.
For sure.
Somebody
For
didn't
sure.
just say, "Hey, toss it right there. You're gonna catch a trout."
Right.
I mean, a sense of accomplishment for me is everything. Like when I go on a guide trip, I don't get a sense of accomplishment. It's like, okay, cool, we went and caught fish with your knowledge on your boat, with your tackle. Like and for some people, I get it, that's fine. But like, I'm an angler. Like
Correct.
I want to go out and I want to put the pieces of the puzzle together, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So like a sense of accomplishment, it for me, it's everything.
Definitely.
You know? And then you're right. Like you do get a more conservation minded. You get more conservation minded.
Yeah, I feel like as a successful angler that's put the stuff together themselves, they realize the value of the resource. They really do. When it's handed to you, you don't realize how tough it can be to put that together, and you don't. I'm not saying everybody, but I've just kind of seen that unfold over the years.
For sure. And me and Eric get skunked all the time, but you don't see videos of that.
Yeah, my last 4 days were not good.
Yeah.
It just goes
One
against the
fish
YouTube
days.
algorithm.
Yes. Yeah.
Skunked for the 6th time. That's your that's your title.
But found some cool shells.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude. It's definitely interesting nowadays. Like the pandemic changed it up. Like it put a lot more people out there, I think.
sure.
Like more people were bored and didn't have anything to do, so that changed. Like it's such a weird time to be alive, dude.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
is.
weird. It's strange, dude. Are you super busy now?
Yeah, it's been wide open.
Super
since
busy.
The
Did the
pandemic.
I was going to ask you if that affected.
Yeah, it was like a month of cancellations right when COVID hit, where people just dropped out real quick. But then so there was about a week of probably no fishing, and then once a week went by, people like at their house not working, it got insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. There was a lot of new fishing guides popped up, and there was a lot of business, and that's good. But it's just, today there was 7 polling skiffs that I saw.
Oh wow.
Between Wrightsville Beach and like Surf City,
Wow.
and that's a Thursday. It's
Yeah.
just there's not enough fish around for that. And it gets to the point that we can't. what scares me is getting to the point that I don't feel like I can actually put clients on fish, because y'all know how it is in the winter. It's like 99% of the fish are in 2% of the water, and you go out there and, you know, it gets to the point where you got to go out there early, stake out a spot, wait for the tide to get right, hope the fish are there.
Kind of like duck hunting.
Kind of like
You
duck
gotta
hunting.
procure that spot.
Yeah, for sure. Hang all your flashlights around and make it look like a big cruise in there.
Yeah, spotlight people off your school of drum.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But it sucks because we have such an incredible waterway here and incredible estuaries that should hold a lot more fish, and this shouldn't even have to be a conversation. But again, there's way more people into it. Like, you talk to anyone in any fishery in the United States, and they're going to say the same things, that it's overfished. You know, maybe there's a few that aren't overfished, but
a positive flip side to that coin, and we were kind of talking about here. You expound upon this because you were saying that whenever people can't get out there all the time, being able to see a video or a post can kind of help them escape. And isn't that what you were saying earlier, Eric?
Yeah, like with real estate, that is like one of the driving factors why like the community that I build from social media is that much more important. Like, one of the first clients I represented from YouTube, I mean, he would text me when my video would drop, "Hey man, that looked awesome." You know, like, that was a sick day you had. I'm like, yeah, it was. You know, we bond over that, and you know, he's got to work Monday through Friday till 5 o'clock every day. He can't fish.
Right.
Most weekends it's blowing when he's off. So like, he appreciates what I'm doing and the time I put in, and he enjoys that. So it's a community builder for people that don't have
for
a boat.
sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
It's a good flip side to what we're talking about.
Definitely.
It brought us three together.
Yeah.
Or it lets me know who you are. Judd has a fishing podcast as well, Eastern Current Podcast.
Mhm.
Eastern Current Podcast. Go look that up, guys. So you're kind of on both sides of the fence here.
For
You're
sure.
you're a fishing guide, and you do a podcast that literally I've seen you on. The first time I ever talked to you on the water, I was catching false albacore, and you said, "What's up, man?" I said, "What's up, dude? I've caught my first false albacore because I listened to your podcast."
I remember that.
And you were like, "Yeah, dude, out here creating competition for myself." And I was like, all right. But yeah, like, you're on both sides of the fence. Like, you have a podcast that teaches people how to catch fish, and then also you're out there trying to, you know, guide and teach people in person how to catch fish. So you could potentially be creating competition for yourself.
For sure,
You know?
sure. And that boils back to, because I've had other fishermen in the area, you know, local, a couple guides, couple, you know, hardcore local fishermen that have kind of, you know, been like, "Why the heck are you sharing that information?" And
How do you respond to that?
I look at it like, if you really listen to Eastern Current Podcast, and I feel like I call it tackle shop information. You know, it's good information, it's valuable information, but you've got to go put your own time in on the water and apply those things to catch fish. I'm not giving you the fish, you know. And I, like, again, I think, you know, I started the podcast to grow a following so that I could hopefully book more fishing trips. You know, it was a sense of marketing that wasn't being done here by any guides, and really not many guides up and down these coasts were doing a podcast, and it's really helped grow my business. But I do believe that I've been able to be a good voice for conservation to the people that do really enjoy the podcast, and explain things and help people become better anglers that understand, you know, the importance of protecting the resource. And that's something that's important to me. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I can be hypocritical of being like, "Golly, I can't believe there's this many people out here, you know, fishing for albacore now." But then I'm doing a podcast talking about, and it's like that double-edged sword of like, I want to see it, but I also, you don't want to see it. Like, you don't want to roll up onto your school of redfish that you knew about and see 5 other boats on it. But then at the same time, it's good that they're out there enjoying that. You know, there's a lot of worse things that people could be doing.
That's what me and Eric were talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Like, if a younger kid sees your fishing video or hears your podcast, they may not turn to that bad crowd. I turned to a bad crowd growing up and did a lot of bad stuff, and my life went down the wrong path. And like, if I would have had something, I'm not saying a podcast or a YouTube channel to teach me, but like, if I would have had maybe something else to put my energy into,
right,
other than bad stuff, like, you know, maybe it would have been a little different. I just think that there's a ton of terrible things these people could be getting into, and they're out there fishing, so we can't be that mad about it.
No, exactly.
And this is it's so true what you said earlier, Eric, about there's really no general consensus here. Like, there's a flip side.
There's no right answer.
There's really not. That's why I love doing a podcast. Like, I'm so glad you thought of this subject, because
For
it's
sure.
so important.
Yeah, I think we were all fortunate too because we were raised in this. So like we can go and get skunked and be like, I got to go. I got to get out. Whereas these people that, see us and follow us and get excited and get jacked up, they may go and have a great day. That might be the only great day they have in 4, 5, 6 months. So really it's the people that are like us that have to be the ones to take care of it because we're the ones that are actually spending the time out there. So like
resource.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, that's very true. You were telling me something you wanted to talk about Elias, right?
Yeah, so let me clear my throat.
Clear my throat.
Shout out to my boy Elias. What up, Elias?
So another thing that's really positive about what we do is, and this, I'm sure this relates to you guys, but for me especially. So Elias posts a video, I get jacked up.
Same.
Me too.
Same.
100%.
Like he like the Rock video he posted the other day where he caught like 25. Like I'm over there like, man, I'm ready to go.
Right.
You pair that with Lex having a good day. Judd drops his podcast. I'm itching.
For sure.
That podcast gets me amped.
Yeah,
boy.
like, I'm ready.
I'll
Like-
be at work like I ain't trying to be at work.
Yeah. So, like another positive from that is take somebody like Texas Tackle. He's a single business owner. When Elias drops a video, how many packs of Z-Man does he sell that day? Because people
I
all
didn't
of a
even
sudden
think about that.
all of a sudden want to drop everything and go fishing. If he has 100,000 subscribers, let's say 500 of them are local and 100 of them go buy a $7 pack of Z-Man. What kind of stimulation is that having for our
Yeah.
local economy?
It's
I didn't
crazy.
even think about that, dude.
That's crazy.
Oh, country boy, business-minded country boy, Eric Williams, boy.
I mean, there's, like you were saying a minute ago, there's a flip side to every coin on this topic.
That's
There
why I
is.
needed 3 brains because mine just doesn't have the capacity.
Yeah.
I needed y'all's 2 brains to do it.
And I don't know about y'all, but I can't go to the tackle shop and not spend $40.
Oh my God, dude!
It's every
It's
time.
higher for you, ain't it, Joe?
It just depends on the day. I try to just drive past it.
Yeah.
I try to not pull in.
Yeah, Intercoastal Anglers is deadly to my bank account.
It
dude.
is. It is.
But that's so true. I never thought about that actually impacting the economy.
Mm-hmm.
That's because somebody at his level on YouTube is getting a lot of eyes, like
Mm-hmm.
40,000 views on average about. And at least, a certain amount of those are here.
Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them are
yeah.
probably here. So it has to have an impact. I was talking to him yesterday. I said something about fishing a spot. He goes, "Oh, I would never fish a spot I fished that on YouTube." He was like, "I would never watch my YouTube and go fish the same spot I fished." He's like, "Because people are gonna pound that spot."
Right.
Like if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're watching his YouTube and you fish there,
Oh yeah.
that's another thing. It's like that could cause issues between you and a fishing guide or you and an old timer that doesn't believe in social media, because plenty of those older guys, they don't do the social media thing.
Right.
And that's usually the people that have a issue with the cameras. Like I've had Jot say something about a camera. Shouts out to Jot. I don't know if Jot's gonna watch this, but I had Jot post something about a camera after he saw me at a 5 Mile Boxcar somewhere like that with a camera on. He's like, he posted on a story. He said, "Looks like young anglers have traded in their life jackets for cameras."
I remember that post.
It was me, bro. I seen him earlier that day, and I sent him a laughing face. I said, "You talking about me, ain't you, bro?"
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I like Jot. I've stopped and talked to Jot multiple times. But like them old timers, they'll give you a hard time.
For
And
sure.
I'm cool with it. You can give me. I got thick skin. You can give me a hard time.
Well, if we put ourselves in their perspective and point of view, they didn't get the opportunity to pull up Google Earth.
No.
no,
They had to earn it or get it from another relative who
Right.
took them fishing. So, like, I see why they would be upset and look at it like you guys are ruining it because they had to earn it. Whereas we
100%.
can look at a video and say, oh, that looks like this spot at this time. Oh, the water's low. Let me look at the oysters. Oh, look at the grass line. It's 2 feet higher. I know it's at least mid-tide or lower.
right.
Like, they couldn't do that.
We can put the puzzle together without even being there. Dude, Google Earth is like 1,000,000 hours of scouting. Like
Yeah.
it's like us living.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like us living 1,000,000 lifetimes and scouting the whole time and put into an app.
For sure.
It's pretty crazy. It makes you more confident to go through sketchy areas that you've never been to.
Definitely. Especially satellite imaging on GPS. When you can look at literally idle through a bay and look at oyster bars and go around them just
That's
staring at your GPS.
insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, because there's some areas I've been in I would have never went in if it wasn't for Google
Right.
Earth. I mean,
For sure.
so that's a kind of media. That's media, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
media game
It's a tool.
changer.
Maybe not a social media, but it's definitely a media.
So, well, YouTube's not really a social. I mean, I guess you can comment, That's not really social media, right?
Right.
Would
Content.
would it be
I don't know.
considered?
It ends up on social media with us. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
it
does.
is.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
What do we not talk about? I know we're missing some
There's
stuff.
TikTok, Snapchat. I think Instagram and YouTube are the big ones.
They're the big ones. dude.
That's the thing too, and I love Elias. I fished Elias yesterday, but when you have a bigger following like that, and you just got to be careful because it could, someone like that could stumble. And me and Elias have talked about this. You stumble into an area that doesn't get a lot of pressure, and the fishing's really good, and then a video comes out, and all of a sudden there's a lot of people that know about a spot that maybe can't handle it. Like if these areas can't handle the amount of pressure that social media has the ability of putting on them. Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense.
So
Yes.
if a spot, let's say a set of docks has a school of wintertime redfish on it, and the guide, myself, I post a picture, a story, an Instagram story, like somebody hooked up, and I pan up, and you accidentally catch a couple houses, and say there's 100 fish in there, and then all of a sudden, 5 to 8 people know exactly where that is from that. I mean, even 5 to 8 more boats hitting that on a regular basis will shut those fish down, and then no one can catch them. Not that it should be mine, but you have to be careful to protect the resource for the people that have put in the time to learn it themselves, if that makes sense. And I hate that it's got to be that way.
It's true, though.
But you can ruin it for a lot of people that have tried hard and earned that knowledge. It's intellectual property, really, is what it is. As you scout and put time in on the water, you've got to want to protect that. And that's the battle of like becoming a big YouTube fisherman, is like all of a sudden it becomes maybe more about the money on that sometimes. And I'm not saying this about Elias. I'm looking at bigger
in general.
YouTubers like
Yeah.
Black Tip and stuff like that. I don't know them. I could be completely wrong, but they're not as worried about maybe showing off a spot if they're going to get a big cut on YouTube from the video.
It's
I
like-
think about the tarpon
Yeah, the tarpon thing.
killing the
For sure.
potential world record.
Yeah.
For the views.
That's crazy. And he didn't. Me and Elias talked about that yesterday. He didn't get that many views. I think Elias like chalked it up to like $4,000 he made off that video, where he's usually making a lot more off of a video. But
That's weird because the controversy behind it should
You
have
would think it
caused
would've-
way more traffic.
Yeah.
Off. I don't know. I haven't watched this stuff since then,
yeah,
so I'm probably not the only one.
I think a lot of people probably saw it and realized the value of their click and maybe didn't click on the video. I
You
don't
know, this is how dumb I am. I saw it and didn't even realize they killed the fish until I
You
read
can't
something.
pick one
Until I
up that
saw
big.
Jot's story talking trash about killing the tarpon. I'm like, wait, what's he talking about? He's talking about a Black Tip Asia video. And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, their internals can't handle being
Right.
out of the water. I
Right.
literally didn't, because I ain't never caught a tarpon. I've hooked a tarpon, but I've never caught one. I
Right.
hooked it on accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, and it wasn't a big one. You probably could have pulled it out of the water and not killed it. I think once they get over a certain size, you're not really supposed to pull them out of the water, right?
Yeah, even the big drum, big redfish.
See, I didn't know that either. I know they're careful with them on the pier and the Outer Banks,
Right.
but like,
Yeah, you like hold them by the jaw or something like that, or
Or the gill
don't
plate.
support their belly or the
Yeah.
gill plate. You can really mess them up.
well, that could be a negative and a positive of social media. You could teach people how to handle these fish and release them
sure.
safely, or you could be showing them the wrong way to do it, and people see that, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it, and then you're killing a bunch of fish inadvertently by. I mean, dude, you're talking about intellectual property. Like, that's such an interesting way to look at it, because back in the day, you used to have to literally choose face to face who you wanted to share your intellectual property with. Yeah, that's my son. You had to choose who you wanted to share that information with. Now, if you post a video that you think isn't sharing that, but there is something there could be something in one of my videos. I know there's stuff where it's like I'm telling so much more than I even knew. You know, and it's like, I didn't mean to tell you that much, but you figured it out. Like, those old timers, that doesn't jive well with them, because they used to have to say, oh, you're family, you're my son, I'm going to show you how to catch these fish. I'm going
Right,
to show you.
right.
They used to have to decide who to share that info with. And now when you release a video or something on social media, anybody can follow you. Anybody can watch your video. Like, you don't get to choose who knows and who doesn't know.
And it's not just your knowledge that you're sharing. There's other people that have put in the time to gain that same understanding of a shoreline or a creek mouth or something
That don't
like
have YouTube channels
yeah,
and
that
don't have
that
social media.
that don't want it shared. And you have to think about it. You got to balance that thought out of like, all right, is this, I know I've learned this. I learned this creek mouth by myself, and that I can catch trout here at this tide. But if I post a video that shows, Shell Island Resort in the background and me whacking the trout in this creek mouth right here, there's other people that fish it too, and I'm hurting, their ability to come and fish this spot when they've put in the time to figure it out. And there's, like we said earlier, there's no right answer, but just conscious things to think about when you're doing that stuff. I feel like.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, the line that he has to walk. To me, I think that's
It's a tricky line sometimes.
It's tricky, dude, because like you have to kind of worry about two things here.
Right.
Yeah, and you have a business aspect of the media. Like you get paid off of media, but you also get paid fishing guide. So it's
a lot more from the fishing guide side of things than the media side
of
things. Of
course. And like,
I wish it was different.
That's like one main reason me and Eric wanted you to come on this podcast, because me and him kind of do the same type of thing. We don't really make that much. I don't make any money off YouTube, but Eric
$1 a day.
Yeah, Eric barely makes any money off YouTube.
$365 a year.
It's $1 a day.
Yeah, so like we wanted to bring somebody on like you that would have to tread. It's interesting to me.
Right.
Did we cover everything, Eric?
Yeah.
I looked at the list. We covered pretty much everything. Sexualizing the.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Should we leave that out? Should we?
It's up to you.
Let's talk about it real quick. So just explain what you were talking about to me about.
Just how like it's become a trend for young hotties to
Like
create,
myself.
to create their own like YouTube channels and Instagrams, and might not necessarily know what they're doing
Right.
in a way
Right.
that is going to promote it positively. And especially for the other women that do it, like I think of Midwest Fisher Girl. Like she's a big time bass fisherman from a kayak, and because I've kayak fished with Elias, like I understand how hard that is. So for somebody like that to see like the sexualization of it, that's really not fair,
Nah.
and it hurts them in the long run because they don't do the same thing.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
true.
and we also live in a generation where like anybody born after 2000 doesn't really understand what it was like before, whereas we do. We were
Correct,
raised in
correct.
it before cameras, before phones. I didn't get a phone until I was 16.
Now everybody has a camera.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's like it's almost the norm.
It's
to
so
see that.
weird.
There was a period of time when I started fishing heavily where a lot of people didn't realize that when you took a picture and sent it to someone, it sent the GPS you could open up on a map where the picture was taken. So there was all these pictures for years traded around, and I finally realized it. But even stuff like that, it's you just got to be careful what you want to share, and understand that you're sharing other people's knowledge too. But yeah, I mean that's such a loaded topic, the sexualization.
That's a podcast in itself.
That's a 5-month episode.
Yeah, I mean,
multi-episode.
because I've posted my old lady in bikinis catching fish, and she don't have any clue what she's doing, but she's having fun.
Right.
And those videos have the most views and the most savage comments I have ever seen, dude. Because you can make enemies online. Like, if you're saying something to me online that I really don't like and it pisses me off, if I see you out on the water, I'm not going to respect you. I'm not going to like you. We're not going to be cool. We're enemies. Like, that's another bad thing that can happen is people being disrespectful online that would never do it to you on the water or do it to your face. But you're creating enemies there. But we've created us as friends, which is the other flip side.
For sure.
You can make friends and you can make enemies online. Like the savage comments. I mean, dude, the fishing groups have the most savage comments,
It's
dude.
brutal. It's sad to see,
brutal,
man.
dude.
When someone
But they're
posts,
not
does anyone
like
know
that
what kind
in
of
real
fish this
life.
is? And it's,
Oh,
Why'd you
God.
catch it if you don't know?
right.
Oh, my God.
And then the amount of times I like type something up to like the mean person on there, I'm like,
It's not gonna
doesn't
help.
do anything. It never does anything. But I don't know.
I let
Yeah.
somebody have it today. I just couldn't let it go, dude.
What'd you say?
I can't even say it on the pod. It's not nice.
Where can we find it?
It's not nice at all. I think it's like Eastern NC duck hunting or something like that.
Oh, that's a brutal one.
It's,
dude.
yeah.
That's
It
a
was
bad
somebody.
one.
They
You
saw,
want to get picked on,
bro?
post-
They saw my podcast and they said, this is proof anyone can do a podcast and put a clown emoji. And I had had 2 interactions with people physically, not like fighting, but arguments before this guy posted this, and I'm like, this is it. It's the final straw. I'm gonna let him have it. So I'll let him have it. I'll let the comedian come out. I'm like, yeah, this is. I'm gonna let you get what I would give you if I was on stage and you were talking during my performance. That's what I'm gonna give you because
That's
I do
awesome.
stand up comedy.
I
So-
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
so,
to come watch that.
Well, so people, I just, where's my kid at? I just trash talk my kids the whole time. But yeah, I let them have it today, and I felt kind of like I shouldn't have done that because I usually ignore it.
Yeah.
Like I ignore it because I'm like, who cares? Like but Yeah, I was.
Well, what is he even saying by
I was
this
the
is proof
lesser.
anyone can do a podcast? That's the most.
He called me a clown.
Well,
He put a clown emoji.
that's
And called me a clown.
We're all clowns, man. We're all freaking
Which
clowns.
is fine. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But it rubbed me the wrong way today. I was like,
Yeah, it
all
would've
right,
rubbed me the
buddy,
wrong way,
I'm not
too.
letting you get away with this one. I've let y'all get away with it on Eastern NC duck hunting for far too long. I'm going to get you today. And so I created an enemy. If
Yeah.
that dude ever sees me out there, he's going to be like, oh, that's that douchebag. That's, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the guy that said that. So that's what I did because I couldn't keep my little keyboard fingers to myself. I was a damn keyboard cowboy today.
Keyboard cowboy.
Couldn't
I like
keep
that.
my daggone.
If
but,
you're not if you're not ruffling feathers, you're not doing it right.
I guess, especially with media. But I think we covered everything. We plugged you guys' stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was. What do you?
I feel like we just tapped. Like, I mean, we covered everything, but I feel like we could keep rolling with this topic for
yeah,
hours. But
yeah, for sure. I
It
think
is
that
what it is.
Google Earth is like a.
yeah, it's a beast of its own.
It
for
is,
sure.
dude. The sexualizing fishing videos because I've sold my old lady on YouTube to slavery on YouTube.
Oh gosh.
You guys, don't forget like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it, so we know who the haters are. We need to know who you are. We need to weed you out. You guys, don't forget, go over to Judd's page, Eastern Current Podcast. Check his podcast out. Check his Instagram out, Judd Brock Fishing. E. Williams Realty for Eric. Go to Eric's fishing page on YouTube. Eric Williams Fishing. Go to that. I think I got all y'all stuff. I tried to memorize this before you. I know yours, but I
Yeah.
tried to memorize yours before you came
I'm
on.
impressed.
Did I do good?
You did incredible. I couldn't remember it. And you were
Dude,
nailing it.
I was like, let's lock this thing in. But hey, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking about this topic.
For sure.
We'll
man.
think of
Thanks for
another.
having us
We'll
on.
think of another controversial topic.
Yeah,
to
and I
talk
think
about.
we should put together a day in March and go do a little fishing video together.
Heck yeah,
We've
dude.
talked about it. I think it would need
You
to
know
happen,
we're
so.
down to fish with the goat, dude. I know they call Elias the goat, but we'll call you
Oh,
the
dude,
goat.
I'm no
that day.
goat. I'm no goat. I don't even know what that means, but
Thank
I
you
don't
guys
like it.
for watching. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Later.
Hunt for Greatness podcast.